Good morning, Cole Canyon Coyotes. Whether you are a student or a staff member, we appreciate you tuning in each week. We are well into April and are experiencing some nice weather, spring weather, of course. We are excited for the dance event tonight. There's two dances in the NPR, and don't forget, boys and girls, your reading counts goal by next Thursday, April 24th. So you have a little bit of time. Let's begin our Friday flag video with the Pledge of Allegiance, shall we? Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. So guys and girls, maybe you have noticed that all of our student expectation signs are now up all over the campus. You can't miss them. Take some time this coming week to stop and read what it means to be a hero in the library or the NPR, restrooms, and on the playground. Today we will focus on the expectations in the library. Each rule relates to what it means to be a hero in that particular area on campus. The H in library, helpful, means, wait patiently for directions upon entering. Renew books each week. That's helpful to our librarian, Miss Ridley, and to others who may want to check out that book. Be encouraging. Be the positive example for the class. So each week we do shout outs on Mondays regarding those classes that do a very good job in the library. Miss Ridley gets those names to me. So be encouraging to one another. Respectful, of course, level 1 voices. That's a whisper at all times, and respect each book that is in your care. And then O for outstanding. Wait patiently for your turn and be kind to others at all times. So thank you for doing your part in that. Hey, whether you're a TK student, a 5th grade, or any grade in between, we thank you ahead of time for doing your part in the library and doing your personal best to be a hero in that area. Next time we'll look at the expectations in the health office. But right now we have Dr. Wheeler with a few important reminders. Take it away, Dr. Wheeler.
Good morning, Coyotes. 4th and 5th graders testing season has begun, and 3rd graders testing season begins on Monday. And we want you to remember that feeling a little nervous is actually more normal than you think. But guess what? You are not alone, and you've got a whole toolkit of strategies to help you through, thanks to our amazing school counselor, Mr. Zanartu. So when those big feelings start bubbling up, let's remember the 3 steps that Mr. Zanartu has been teaching us. First, stop. Take a moment to catch your breath. It's okay to hit the pause button and give yourself a little break. Next, name what you are feeling. Are you nervous? Are you worried? Anxious? Understanding your emotions is the first step to managing them. And finally, calm down. Remember all of the coping skills we've been learning over the course of the year, whether it's deep breathing, counting, or thinking positive thoughts. Find what works for you to bring that calm feeling back. But wait, there's more. If you ever need a quick break to refocus, don't hesitate to take it. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to a trusted adult like your teacher, an aide, or any of us, because we are here to support you every step of the way. When you take on challenges, like testing, for example, with the right mindset and all of your thinking brain power, all of you will achieve incredible things. So above all, remember, you've got this. You can do it, and together we are all going to do our best. Now to Mr. Zanartu and Mrs. Lane.
Good morning, Coyotes and staff. Remember that each Friday flag, we are recognizing those students at all grade levels who have earned the hero shout out from his or her teacher. Remember that this is the kids who have shown what it means to be helpful, encouraging, and respectful, and outstanding. So here we go, kicking it off with our kindergartners. From Mrs. Miller's class, we have Luca and Cairo. And from Mrs. Gorton's class, we have Isabel.
From Mrs. Moore's class in 1st grade, Ezra. From Mrs. Cron's class, it's James B. In Mrs. Murray's class, it's Kari. In Mr. Reagan's class, Declan. Mrs. Stringer's class, Sawyer. And in Espinosa's class, Ace.
And for our 2nd graders, kicking it off with Mrs. De Leon's class, we have Elias. From Mrs. Schott's class, we have Eli. From Mrs. Gonzalez, Colt. From Mrs. Garrity, we have Benjamin and Evelyn. From Mrs. Silva's class, we have Micah, and from Mrs. Teresa's class, we have Hudson H.
In 3rd grade, from Mrs. Tope's class, congratulations to Avery. Mrs. Welch's class, Isaac. Mrs. Hess's class, Sarah. Mrs. Levin's class, Max. Mrs. Hartley's class, Hudson L., and in Mrs. Hewittson's class, Liam.
Moving in with our fourth graders, from Mrs. Ariano's class, we have Lily and Taylor. From Mrs. Calvillo Murray, we have Allison. From Mrs. Trujillo, we have Gus and Bo. From Mrs. Hayes' class, we have Philip. From Mr. Pacey, we have Carter. From Mrs. Schroeder, we have Haley. And we're going to move right in with our fifth graders.
And in Mrs. Reagan's class, congratulations to Sophie. In Mrs. Bryan's class, Tatum and Lily N. In Mrs. Hemrick's class, Julius. And in Mrs. Bethke's class, Griffin. A huge congratulations to each student who earned that weekly shout out. Just a reminder that all of those names are going to still be entered in that monthly drawing for that class prize for our Friday Flag live assembly. I know it's been a little bit of a while, but it's coming up. Now, let's turn back over to Mr. Shaw to close us out.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Z, and thank you. You students are in such good care, and I thank you teachers too for all the care and support each day. Team, I appreciate the words of wisdom today and the encouragement there to be heroes, and all those students who earned the Hero for the Week. We're very proud of you. So I know you were willing to do your very best, especially with your words and actions this spring. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you back on Monday, April 22nd. Take care now.